Okay, Max, now we're going to take a look at your freestyle from the underwater view. And as you're reaching out in front, you just see a lot of that displacement. We talked on the above view how you're dropping that elbow in. And you can just see here as you're trying to get to your catch, you're dropping that elbow even further, which does not allow you to really catch the water as quickly as you can. And you're kind of missing that first 6 to 8 inches in your catch, which would make you even more powerful up front, a little faster in terms of your freestyle if we can get that elbow up instead of dropping ahead of the hand. And then right here, you can see how you get that arm down and that hand down, and you grab that water, but you're still carrying a lot of air on that arm, and that's just because you dropped the elbow so quickly. So as I'm looking at this here, you see air bubbles on both sides of the arm, and that's just going to create a little less of a feel between your arm and the water, and a little less power on your catch in the freestyle. And then as you come to the other side, left arm, you can just see the left elbow down a little bit again. You do a little bit better job of getting the elbow high here and getting that catch, and still have some air bubbles on the hand. But once you get to this point, hands underneath the body, and you're pulling yourself forward with that forearm and hand very well, and you catch a lot of water at that point. So if we can just, again, kind of work on keeping that elbow high, hand entry before the elbow and not the elbow at the same time or ahead of the hand, I think I'll be putting you in a better position to catch water. You can just see here, when we talk about freestyle, we want the shoulder above the elbow, which you have, and then wrist below the elbow, which are the opposite. Wrist is above the elbow, and then hand below the wrist, and your hand's below the wrist, but the hand should be below the elbow. So you can just see in this position here, this is not really where we want to be. We want to be to the elbow here, and then we want that elbow to forearm to be more like here, and the hand to be there into the catch. So you're already pulling back with your energy, which would be pulling you forward, and your hand is actually pushing down at this point, because it's the only way it can create energy right there, is to push down. And if we can, and that, what that's doing is just pushing it straight up. So it's pushing you up in the water instead of pulling you forward. So we'll talk about it and work on it, but we just want to have a high elbow. And when I talk about high elbow in practice, that's what I'm talking about. And then when you get to here, you do such a good job once you get to here. Your kick's very active, especially when you're swimming sprint freestyle, and you have such a good body line. Eyes right up a little high at times, so we can get a little more stationary with that and get to this position, which I really like. But again, you can just see there's a little bit up and down with the head, and it's basically dropping those elbows, and your energy is pushing you up and then down as you go to pull forward. But once you're past that point, the way you catch water with your hands and forearm is very good, and underneath the body, and that's going to be very good for power and speed going forward. And as we come into the turn, again, we can see you turn the hands over, which is better than most. That's what we want to do, pull our hips over the top with our hands. You kind of roll sideways, and I would like to see you stay on your back at this point and bring those feet straight over the top. It's a little faster to do that, and it also puts you in a better position to push off the wall. And you can see you're a little away from the wall when you flip. You got to be a little closer. Your feet are coming down towards the middle of the X, and then what happens are the cross, and then what happens is your push off is going to be a little more shallow. We want the feet a little higher up here when you're on your back, and then you're going to have a deeper angle through your hips, and your shoulders and your streamline will be on this other line that I drew, and give you a little bit deeper push off coming off the wall, which is a little faster. And then as you come off the wall, you can just see you're shallow there, which in the territory that you're swimming in with big guys that are swimming in fast, there's a lot of disturbance that happens behind you when you go to the flip turn, and all that water's moving. So if you're shallow like this, you're actually going to be slower in some of the heats that you swim with than if you get a little deeper. You want to get underneath that wake that's coming in behind the swimmers. And then did a good job kicking out. Just like to see a little more width in the kick. And then pretty good breakout, except we don't want to breathe on that breakout. So big thing for you is just not to drop those elbows. That's going to create a much faster freestyle.